It is taught that, in the beginning, there was Yggdrasil, the World Tree. This beautiful, opulent, cosmically mysterious entity birthed 12 beings that would later grow into gods. These 12 gods, in their divine splendor, were tasked with creating a sprawling paradise for creatures to inhabit, a world where these infantile deities could care for their own creations, much like Yggdrasil had done for them. But it was a point of tension among the young family about how to implement this. On one side, 6 gods wished to create a race of powerful, beautiful creatures who could one day outgrow their creators and take their place. On the other side, these gods wished for devotion, love, and admiration, and so they divided themselves into 2 groups of 6, the Demiurge and the Pantheon, and they had a wager. Whichever creation develops and thrives longer will be the ones to populate this new world. Before the wager, it was agreed among the deities that the physical world would be a collaborative effort, and so the world of Nazari was born. The Demiurge toiled away, creating a variety of races such as humans, orcs, furbolg, and many more. They would tend to their needs when occasion called for it, but felt confident that they had equipped their mortal creations with the right tools to fend for themselves and be thankful for it. The Pantheon set about making a singular race of mortals who would have the foresight and intelligence to develop quicker. They created the Elves, and thus the Age of Enlightenment began. The world of Nazari was a wonderful, whimsical place back then. Lush fields of violet, gold and silver, and piercing blues that glazed the oceans. Snow-capped mountains that laid on the surface of Nazari like a lazy farmer waiting for the hot sun to dim and night to creep in. Rivers ran like liquid silver through the cracks and crevices of the world. It was a time of splendor. The wager, however, ended abruptly when the Demiurge had discovered that the Pantheon had sent a gift to the Elves in hopes of giving them an upper hand. The Elves had been gifted a small amount of divine energy that they themselves had molded into what we know today as magic. This, to the Demiurge, was considered cheating and would not be stood for. During the wager, and thanks to the Pantheon's gift, the Elves and even some facets of other races were beginning to thrive with magic, developing new and innovative ways to progress their civilizations. This age was known as the Age of Prosperity. One day, mortals discovered a ritual that would allow them to commune with their creators, a wonderful and terrifying prospect for any of faith, but one that was taken up with more curiosity than divine drive. The Elves were the ones to commune with the gods first, but unbeknownst to them, it wasn't their gods that they communed with. The Demiurge had interfered and manipulated the Elves into believing their creators were vengeful, spiteful beings who wanted nothing more than worship. The Elves turned on the Pantheon, denouncing their faith, and once the Pantheon found out what had happened, it meant war. Violence, bloodshed, destruction, and untold horrors preceded the wager, in a horrific, uncertain, and unpredictable time known as the war. Nazari was plunged into darkness and violence. During this unfathomable time, races such as the Aesir were created to fight on the front lines for the gods, and, once the fighting had made its way to the surface of Nazari, mortal armies were raised in the name of their chosen god. This war would rip Nazari apart and scatter its inhabitants like marbles on stone. The fighting wasn't just regulated to the celestial planes or the material plane. It ravaged every realm and every plane known to the world. By the end of the period simply known as the War, only 3 gods remained. Little is known by mortals about how the next event came about. Some say it was the last resort of desperate gods, others claim that reality itself had unraveled and the fabric of the universe became unstable. All is known is that the decimation became the turning point for Nazari. The world was all but torn in half, and when the dust settled, less than 30% of the population remained alive. The last living god, Threvestos, wept as he looked on at the horrors caused by him and his kin. He vowed to make things right again. He spent an unknown amount of time repairing what had been broken, and when all had been fixed, he resurrected the Demiurge to care for the shattered world and all of its inhabitants, before leaving to roam the cosmos alone as punishment. He became referred to as the Observer. This period became known as the Transition. Before Threvestos left, he and the rest of the Demiurge created a gate that would lock away their realm and all other realms to mortals to avert such a horrific crisis once more. With the land now divided up because of the fighting, the world began to heal, and Nazari entered the post-decimation era. Eridanus, the largest and mostly untamed continent of Nazari, is home to the powerful Pysavithian Empire that spans from the west coast to the east into a region now known as the Sindari Strand, so called after the beautiful capital city of Sindari, ruled by the stoic and hopeful presence of Empress Yama Pysevith. Just outside the Empire's reach is the strong, unrelenting dwarven fortress city of Korath, built into and from the remains of a once spectacular flying city, ruled by King Hugin. The south is home to the gorgeous coastal region of the Dagger Coast and its lush jungles, humid sands, ancient ruins with secrets untold, and a colourful city with equally colourful residents in the shape of Paradisius. The northern region of Eridanus is home to the untamed wilds of Galaterra, a frozen landscape that sits beneath the mysterious and unexplored continent of the Kavarian Icelands to the north. On the continent of Ilia, to the east, lies the foundation of elvenkind and the kingdom of Lyrelia, a place of immense technological advancement in the past, but now settles for the beauty and arcane development. To the south sits the divine capital of Vineros, a magnificent embarrassment of riches devoted to the Demiurge and ruled by the 6 popes of each church institution and policed by the stern, unrelenting paladins known as bishops. Northern Ilia is capped with snow, frost, and massive, glittering mountains that could touch the heavens. This pearlescent land is home to the second major dwarven settlement on Nazari in the form of Insula. Among the 3 main continents of Eridanus, Ilia, and the Kavarian Icelands are various landmasses and islands that have been carved off from some of the larger landmasses during the war. Gipkus Isle, a veritable pirate haven and port for anyone looking to start a life of swashbuckling adventure. The Draconis Archipelago, formed from the ancient corpse of a once powerful dragon and former home of the Dragonborn race before a volcanic eruption scattered them from their homes and forced them to flee, seeking refuge around the globe. And Folaria, an infantile country compared to the rest of the world, a country that formed 100 years after the transition and was colonized and settled upon very quickly. This young land is split into 4 regions: Monarch, an opulent show of glitz and glamour; Noro, a region truly one with nature; Origin, a land ravaged and seemingly cursed by war; and Sundry, a peaceful, shining, sandy region that shimmers with its famed crystal beaches. With Folaria being so young, who knows what secrets it may yet hold? The world is healing rapidly. The events of the war are, however prevalent, slowly becoming nothing but a fleeting nightmare that wakes children at night. But Nazari persists, and its inhabitants now live fruitful, unafraid lives under the watchful eyes of the Demiurge.